What's up, everyone? It's Alicia here. A few days ago, one of the NBA owners, well, to be exact, Golden State Warrior owner, spouted out in his own podcast that he really doesn't care about the Uyghur Muslims in China putting in concentration camps. There's millions of them in there. I'm really shocked that this wasn't bigger news, considering the topic. Everybody who knows me and follows me on social media knows that I'm strongly against China's human rights violation. I'm actually calling out China to be doing crimes against humanity, and they should be prosecuted against crimes against humanity for what they're doing against Taiwanese people, Hong Kong people, Mongolian descents, and also Uyghur Muslims. Now that they have had those Muslim concentration camps quite a while, and I was quite surprised that an NBA owner came out. But then I remembered that of course nothing's gonna happen because, well, money makes the world go around, and NBA basically just wants money of China's market, so they need to just brush this under a rug. Before we go to the video, remember to subscribe. Nothing else. Enjoy the video. This is kind of fun.
Chamath, let me make sure I have this right. Chamath Palihapitiya. Chamath Palihapitiya. Get an American name.
It's
Chamath Smith.
It's Palihapitiya.
Palihapitiya. Okay. Of course. I'm sure none of us got that right.
Okay.
Golden State Warriors, he's a part owner. He said on this podcast that no one, now for those of you who don't know, Uyghurs are Chinese Muslims, and there's an actual genocide that's been going on.
Oh, I was way off.
Yeah. This is what he said on his...
Yeah, like, before we go any further, like, the amount of, like, just brushing everything under a rug major sports leagues does for China is fucking incredible. NBA is probably one of the worst ones. They are willing to push, for example, the Hong Kong protests, Taiwan situation, the Uyghur situation. They are talking about the Muslims who are in the concentration camps. NBA doesn't give a fuck about those. The only thing the NBA teams, their owners, and, well, the GMs and the players even care about is money. So I wouldn't watch NBA players and like an NBA as a business to be something to look up to, because they are basically just willing to step over bodies and bodies of people who died of discrimination, genocide, and hunted for their beliefs and who they are, basically. I wouldn't look up the NBA or the NBA players.
Nobody cares about. Let's be honest. Nobody cares about what's happening to the Uyghurs. Okay, you bring it up because you really care, and I think that's nice that you care. The rest of
what? That can't be real. He can't be a part owner of an NBA team and say that.
Us don't care.
What?
I'm just telling you a very hard.
Wait, you're saying you personally don't care?
I'm telling you a very hard, ugly truth. Okay, of all the things that I care about, yes, it is below my line. Okay, of all the things that I care about, it is below my line.
So that's one of those things that even if...
What? What the fuck? I hope that guy is fired. But he's a part owner though, so he can't technically be fired. But the league needs to do something, because you have to remember, the Houston Rockets GM was fired because he showed support for the Hong Kong protests. And he got fired because of that. By the NBA forced Houston Rockets to fire that guy. And he got fined by the NBA for saying that. So they need to basically do the same thing for this one, because this is basically saying that genocide is okay.
You feel that evilly, you don't say it.
I thought this was like a parody and somebody was lying to me and it was clickbait or something.
No, I know.
No, I think publicly saying you're for genocide is a bad thing.
You would think so. I mean, I'm even just a little bit nervous. Like if I'm, if I go bird watching and I point, I'm like, let me get my hand. I don't want to, accidentally salute.
Right.
So, and this guy's just like, I don't give a rat's ass what you do to Chinese Muslims. Kill them. I don't care.
Yeah, especially coming from a person who is in such a powerful position. We don't know how big of an owner he is, but apparently he is considered to be one of the owners of the team. So,
yeah, I mean,
how often are you bird watching?
It's a cover.
You just go to Point Pelee, Michigan. You're like, that's the red-breasted sparrow.
Well, I'm still aiming for a good year for people who birdwatch. Get that. Now let's contrast this with how the Warriors head coach Steve Kerr, I believe is his name. See, I don't know sports that well, but I do remember this, reacted to the shooting of, now keep in mind, for those who have forgotten, black guy, Jacob Blake, who was violating a restraining order against his baby mama who he had sexually assaulted before, and she called the cops. So let's compare what that guy just said about Chinese Uyghur Muslims, actual genocide, actual racism, versus the race baiting that you see from the Golden State Warriors coach, Mr. Kerr.
I think that's the wrong direction they went. I don't know if Crowder just didn't remember, but he could have just pulled out the Houston Rockets GM. I think that's more close to home. The Houston Rockets GM saying that he supports Hong Kong and getting fired and fined by the NBA, compared to like he comparing this to Steve Kerr saying something about Jacob Blake's shooting. Like I don't think those two things are the same and comparable. I think this is the wrong comparison done by Steven Crowder.
What I think I've learned that's most important is really the definition of racism. You know, I think as a white person, I think we all think of racism as an act. We think of some person using a bad racial epithet to refer to somebody. Or
that would be words.
A guy in a hood, you know, burning a cross. Racism is really...
I don't understand what the fuck Steve Kerr is talking about, but I think he still doesn't know what racism is apparently.
System.
Look at your house, jackass. It's huge.
Well, it seems like as actions, like someone someone actually being racist, but in reality it's something more nebulous that I can't define. But the good thing is you said system, so let's hold you to system. Do you mean like a system that systematically sterilizes Muslim Chinese citizens, the Uyghurs? That's what's happening when you look at the actual genocide that's going on in China right now. And I've known about
that's true.
I went to Guantanamo Bay and there was a Uyghur.
China has committed genocide against the Uyghur people in Xinjiang. An official UK-based tribunal has found,
prison.
Oh, really?
I remember it, and I thought the term was funny, and that's when I learned BA.
It's hard to...
Why don't they care? Could it? Is it possible? Oh, wait, that's right. Maybe because they have a $500 million annual contract with China right now. $1
money.
$1 million over the 5 years signed with just one Chinese company.
Money.
Yeah.
Well, that might
did he say...
They sit there and they're going to take $1 million...
Did he say 10 cents?
...annual contract with...
Oh my fucking god, not Tencent again. They are fucking everywhere.
China right now, $1.5 billion over the... Sit there and they're going to take a knee for a guy who's not even in their sport, and then they're completely silent at forced sterilization. By the way, and I'm also confused because I thought...
Again, wrong comparison. You should compare it to the Houston Rockets GM. We are going to watch that clip later on.
You guys loved Muslims.
Yeah. I thought that was your favorite religion.
I don't understand the hierarchy anymore. I really don't.
No,
there's a line.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he cares below
He
it.
cares below it.
Yeah. Uyghurs.
He's like, I like to think of it more of as an asshole thermometer.
Right. Yeah. Him making $500 million is above the line. I know that's not just his money. It goes to the rest of the NBA teams and gets distributed. But by the way, this guy in California feels so comfortable and knows that he will not get called out on this, that he says that on a podcast that is publicly available to anyone.
His own podcast.
Yeah, his own podcast.
Yeah.
He feels so comfortable in his bubble in the People's Republic of California that he feels...
Does he realize that the internet is a global phenomenon?
Why don't we try and switch this a little bit? Now, I don't want this taken out of context, so I'm going to be very careful.
Then don't.
All right, so let's just say, this is like an NBA owner like this guy saying, not me, this guy saying, yeah, the things that are going on in Rwanda are just, he would say, below his line.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
In Africa, you remember when that acts of genocide were happening and genocide was happening? Hotel Rwanda, that great movie.
But that just shows that people who have like a ridiculous amount of money, they don't really care. They just want to make more money. They don't care about like people's well-being. They don't care about human rights. They just want to make more money. Those super rich people. For example, the NBA owners are super rich people. They don't give a shit about how many human rights they are trampling underneath their feet to get more money from China. They don't give a shit about genocides. They can always put a curtain in front of the genocide so you don't see it. But stating that is really fucking not. That's like really. I don't know.
So you could see it, right?
Yes.
That would be below his line of things to care about. Do you think the world might go, well, wait a minute, what? How can you possibly say that?
Well, I think you get an angry call from Don Cheadle.
Alec Baldwin and Glenn Ross wouldn't say that behind closed doors.
Right.
I mean, that is
takes to commit genocide, Dave.
Do you know what a pull your dick out move that was? To just say, like, I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
I don't care about organ harvesting. I'll take 2 livers.
What's my name? F.U., that's my name. Yeah, but I do care about Uyghurs because I'm not a monster.
Yes. I have a fridge filled with kidneys just in case mine don't work.
Qurans are for closers.
You see that watch? That watch is not worth as much as a Uyghur life because all life is precious.
So now, well, here, it would be one thing if they were supporting, let's say, a government that was progressive, right? The Chinese Communist government. I call it CCP for short, but you can take it. So the Communist Chinese government, the Chi-Coms, you can use that term.
There we go.
I coined it. But let's look at the track record of not only the Communist Chinese government, but a lot of people don't understand this because you think that all racism is just white versus black in the United States. You know what? I don't know how to get to this. Let's just say this is pretty racist, and it happened in China recently. Yeah. And it's not just the one guy saying it; it's the whole group of people around this guy who support him saying it.
Against a basketball team.
Yes, against a basketball team, which is also, I mean, the irony here with the NBA. Like, I don't know how this works, and you'll understand what I'm saying once you watch this clip.
What?
Oh, my! What did I just see?
That was just fucking high peeps, nothing else. We all know that Chinese are really fucking racist. Like, they don't like Mongolian descent, they don't like Uyghurs, they don't like Christians, they don't like Muslims. Racism isn't just like a privilege of the white people. Every single nation, basically, there's racism there. It's different kind, though. For example, the Chinese racism their government is doing is locking people up in concentration camps, or imprison them in other ways, or just fucking killing them. That's their sort of racism. Is that better or worse racism than what you see in the Western society? You make the call. Okay, let's wrap this shit up. It's not a surprise that an NBA owner would say shit like that, considering they just care about money. They don't care about human lives. They don't even care about their own players. They just care about money. So I'm not really surprised that one of the owners come out and said that they don't give a shit about genocide or concentration camps. Because, well, China's a huge market and it's paying a lot of money for the NBA. So, but one thing Crowder did two things Crowder did do wrong was the first thing was the racist ending. But the second thing was comparing the Golden State Warriors owner, what he said to Steve Kerr's statement about Jacob Blake. Sorry. Well, when he was I think the better comparison would have been for the Houston Rockets. NBA faces backlash after siding with Beijing over pro-Hong Kong tweet from Rockets GM. NBA team executive tweets support for Hong Kong angering China. China suspended business ties with Houston Rockets over Hong Kong tweet. And you know what the backlash of that was? The GM got fired. And also, those fucking cocks, those players who only cares about money, who are supposed to be role models, they also apologized to China.
We love China. We love, playing there. I know for both of us. And one thought based on one.
And this was NBA statement. We have a great respect for the history and culture of China and hope that sport and the NBA can be used as a unifying force. That's like, but yeah, the Houston Rockets GM got fired because of that. That would have been a better comparison for the situation. But now we're going to search who the fuck was the Golden State owner. NBA's Warrior disapproved part owners, Uyghur comments. The Golden State Warrior distances themselves from a minority stakeholder, Chamath Palihapitiya, who said nobody cares about Uyghurs. But is he still considered part owner? But are they still taking money from him? Is Golden State Warriors still considering him as a part owner? They should just cut all ties with him. That's the only thing they can do.